Hi, you there. Would you ever want a dinosaur for a pet? A dodo bird? Or a woolly mammoth? So maybe you wouldn't be able to have a dinosaur for a pet because your parents wouldn't like it, and because there would be other technical problems that will be explained later. But maybe you could have your very own woolly mammoth for a pet. Woolly mammoths lived in what is known today as Siberia and Alaska. They are roughly the same size as modern-day elephants and were well adapted to the cold environment during the last ice age, the time when the Earth was much colder than it is today. The mammoth died out or became extinct gradually, with the last population disappearing nearly 4,000 years ago. They look like elephants, covered in fur, with short tails and ears to keep their bodies warmer in the Ice Age's cold climate. Scientists have found that its closest living relative is the Asian elephant, that lives in the southeast part of Asia. So you might be asking, aren't these animals already extinct, meaning that they're gone forever? Well, yes, they are extinct, and we know this because we never have seen a living, breathing mammoth nowadays. But forever? Maybe not. Thanks to new DNA technology, we may eventually bring the mammoth and other extinct animals back to life. So what is DNA? DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid and is a double helix molecule that is inside every cell inside all living things, including us. Inside the cell, DNA acts as an instruction manual that contains the orders for how to make and run living things such as insects, dogs, and people. These instructions determine everything from whether you have one or two eyes, or whether you are born as a duck or plant. Inside the DNA, information is stored as a code made up of 4 chemical bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. But they like being called by their initials, A, G, C, and T. Different species have different DNA lengths and orders of those 4 letters A, G, C, and T that determines what they are. So scientists have proposed, why not just get the instruction manual, or DNA, from the mammoths so we can figure out how to revive it? However, the problem with this is that DNA over time becomes fragmented or broken up into tiny little pieces. This is why really old DNA, such as dino DNA, is unusable because it is too fragmented. It would be like having a few ATGCs in your alphabet soup. You would never be able to make any sense of it. Even woolly mammoth DNA, though it is very well preserved due to the consistent cold climate, is still quite fragmented. But if we have enough DNA fragments from enough mammoths, scientists believe that we could arrange them to have the complete set of mammoth DNA, also known as the mammoth genome. So first, we need ancient DNA from the preserved mammoth tissues, bones, teeth, and tusks, to find the order of the AGCT base pairs in a process known as sequencing. But because these DNA fragments are short, we need to continuously sequence many DNA fragments and piece them together. Eventually, we would have the complete set of DNA, or the genome of the animal. Once we have the entire genome, we would need to make a complete strand of mammoth DNA and insert the DNA into a nucleus, which is the place within your cells that keeps the DNA, and get the nucleus into the embryo, or the cell that eventually divides to form babies. The embryo with the injected mammoth DNA would then be placed inside a mother Asian elephant, where the DNA could provide the instructions to direct the embryo to develop into a mammoth. So in short, we would get the entire instruction manual or genome of the mammoth. Then we would make the DNA strands and inject it inside a nucleus, which is injected inside an embryo. And then the embryo would be injected inside a mother Asian elephant, and then the mammoth would be born. Of course, scientists need technology to catch up with these ideas before the first reincarnated animals are made, so maybe your kids' kids will perhaps one day see live woolly mammoths.
Created using Powtoon.